Welcome to Subtextual. I'm Sam.
And I'm Lizzie. We look for queer subtext in films.
And we always find it. Lizzie.
Samantha Samuel.
Wow. Am I ever ready to talk about this freaking movie?
It's much more than a movie, isn't it, though? It's a way of life, question mark. It's a like theory of philosophy.
Yeah. It's starting to feel like something I can't escape.
How many times have you said the words Fight Club this week?
Enough to make my wife, she put a moratorium on it. So
she's like, the first rule of this house is you can't talk about Fight Club.
Exactly. I'm really excited to talk about this movie. I have a lot of things to say, and I'm excited to be back, most importantly.
Yeah, we're in video. I didn't even know you could do this.
Yeah, 4K, no less. You guys can see me better than I've seen myself.
Hi, Mom.
This is so cool.
Yeah, after 3 seasons of audio only, we're here on video. And if this is your first time watching, welcome. We're going to tell you how gay all your favorite movies are.
True.
If you've been here for years, welcome back. This is what we look like.
Yeah, it's so weird to see podcasters' faces. This is probably jarring for them. Sorry. And what an episode to kick off a new season, a new format, but Fight Club. I mean, this is the one for me that I feel like we get requested all of the time.
Yes.
And it's always been something I'm like, okay, I have to have a lot of energy when I'm prepared to do that one.
And you brought it to us and you said, it's time.
Yes.
The sacred text.
I was like, how do I start the new season?
Something chill, something fun, something that'll get the people going.
Fight Club. Fight Club. Yeah. Before I jump into all about Fight Club, question for you.
Yes.
Do you like this movie? Have you seen this movie? How do you feel about this movie?
I like this movie. Yeah, I love a movie that I can chew on a little bit. It's vivid and exciting and frustrating, and is a movie that changes a little bit every time you watch it. Especially, the first time I saw it was probably in my late teens, early 20s. I'm sitting here in my mid 30s in the world of today, and it feels a little different. I've met more men, and yes. I've read more books and know more things. But I still very much enjoy thinking about this film. I've enjoyed trying to answer the question this week, what is this movie about?
Yep.
We'll see if I'm successful at all, and I'm really curious to hear your research into it all.
Okay, perfect. I've got you right where I want you.
Right where I want you.
It's taken so much self-restraint not to vomit all of this stuff out of my mouth to you specifically every time I've seen you before this episode. And I'm also, producer Lee, what are your thoughts on this movie? Have you seen it recently? Do you like it?
I rewatched it last night, and actually, I started watching it last night, finished it today to get ready for this podcast. Y'all convinced me to rewatch it. It's not one of my favorite movies. I don't think this movie's really my jam, but I did really enjoy it. You got the Finch man, David Fincher.
Oh yeah, you do.
The Finch man.
The Finch man.
I will say my history with this. I think I saw it for the first time in college or post-college even. It was pretty late. And I think I kind of felt the same way as I do today. But I remember, this is the big story for me. As a kid growing up, we could rent pretty much anything in the movie store. I guess if it was obviously just exploitation or very sexy movie, our parents would not allow it. But whenever we were we loved the cover of Fight Club. I'm talking me and my brother.
Yeah.
The pink soap. What is that about? We loved seeing that and we're just so curious, Fight Club, what is this? We thought it was so cool. And it was just I remember the reaction from our parents was never my dad was always nah, not that one. And it wasn't I was do they have sex in the movie? I think I even knew what that was.
Happens?
And he was nah, just y'all wouldn't like it. So there's obviously probably not something a little kid should watch anyway, but I just always remember my dad's reaction to the film was hilarious.
You're probably good without this one.
Your parents are so cool.
Yeah.
When it comes to movies, yeah, they have a decent taste, I'd say. Yeah.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Thanks.
But Sam, what do you feel about it? And why are we talking about this film on this particular gay podcast?
This movie, The Finch Man, might I say, David Fincher, I'm obsessed with.
That's your number one,
That's
right?
my number one, which is also one of the reasons I like saved this episode for so long. David Fincher is like probably, if I had to put like my appreciation for film on one person, like say they're responsible, it would be David Fincher. I think
God damn.
he is that girl.
He's that bitch.
He doesn't miss. Like every other filmmaker right now should be like happy that he's cooling and not like, coming out with another freaking certified banger. But the first time I saw this was in high school, and then I like didn't watch it for a really long time because it was not my favorite Fincher film. I think he did a fantastic job and he's always good. So I know I've seen it semi recently and folks have really been requesting it, but nothing really stood out to me in my memory that was, reason enough for me to stop everything and do the film until I got my hands on the book. And when I tell you, I started reading this book. I told Lizzie, I'm going to crack the book, and if it's good, we'll do an episode. I think within 5 minutes, I was like, yeah, we're doing this.
Yeah. I think you were like, okay, I'm going to start this after breakfast. You texted me at lunch. We're like, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done and we're doing this. This book is really interesting. I want to talk more about the author and the book, but as for reasons why we're talking about it today, do you want to venture a guess?
I'm going to go with the homoerotic energy of Tyler and the narrator. Does the narrator have a name?
We can call him the protagonist.
The protagonist, between Tyler Durden and the protagonist. But there's also just a lot of themes that like intersect with queerness. So I took notes. Wow. I took my job very seriously, and I have 3 statements, or the 3 main themes I think this film is about that relate to queerness.
Tell me.
So capitalism, the failure of.
Yes.
Gender, limitations of.
Yes.
And bonus, masculine intimacy, the desire for.
Yes.
I can't wait to talk about this. I really need this. Did you know can y'all tell I need this right now?
I have never gotten to a record and felt like the record is superfluous. Like the amount of research I have done and the books that I have read and the thoughts I've been having for days. It feels like this episode is coming so late and I'm just ready to get it all out. So, but
let's go.
You touched on so many good points. Like, yes, masculine, the desire for masculine intimacy and where that comes from. I think clearly the relationship between the protagonist and Tyler, as well as the relationship between the protagonist and Marla.
Please.
The protagonist and his just individual desires, and then for what feels like to me an allegory for being in the closet.
Oh, okay, yes.
And I will point that out to you. Maybe if you share the same interpretation, you're like, I already know exactly what you're going to say, but I look forward to unearthing all of that.
Yeah.
Juicy goodness. And without further ado, we could just start jumping into the production.
Let's do it. Let's talk about the production.
So, directed by the Finchman. David Fincher. Love him. Super fan. He directed some of the like biggest blockbusters of the 90s, early 2000s, Seven, Zodiac, Social Network, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl. Obviously, this film, he, like I said, never misses. This guy, someone said, I think it was Robin Wright said that like he has the heart of an artist, but the mind of an engineer.
Yeah.
This man is so meticulous, which is something he's known for, as well as like technical mastery and these dark themes that you see in all of his movies. And he's known for having exhaustive shoots. You know this?
I've heard that he will do like 40 plus takes to get exactly what he wants.
Yeah, that is like the standard. Everything is several hundred takes. Like he said,
good God,
the scene with, Tyler and the protagonist in the bar, and it's like the first time they're really connecting. He said that 5-minute scene, they shot 40,000 feet of
No, they didn't.
Yes, 40,000 feet.
Digital was made for this man, and he refuses to touch a digital camera.
And he would be right, though. Give this man the money he needs to do exactly what he needs to do. I love him, and it's actually it feels like such a shame because I'm not going to have a lot of time to talk about him today, but I just do want to say that I'm his biggest fan ever. And
don't worry, we'll come back to him with Lisbeth Salander one of these days.
Yeah.
The Finchman will be back on Subtextual.
He's a Virgo also. I just want to throw in there.
No shit. Literally,
We
of
have
course.
Beyonce and David Fincher. Okay, that's the only Virgos. Okay, so this is based on the book of the same name written by Chuck Palahniuk in 1996. Here's the book right here.
Yep.
You want to catch a visual? Chuck Palahniuk wrote Fight Club as a short story, which was published in a small anthology in 1995. He expanded the short story, which was actually chapter 6 of this book, into a whole novel. So before this record, Lizzie, I had you read chapter 6 as a standalone, if you can imagine it, as a short story.
Yeah.
How does it function?
It definitely functions. Chapter 6 is kind of the montage where they're establishing the Fight Club, where he's meeting Tyler, not for the first time, but connecting with him in the bar for the first time and laying out the rules, the infamous rules. So it really works as a standalone.
Yeah, I think this novel, I've read the novel twice. I think that it's incredibly effective. I think that Palahniuk is clearly a good writer with a clear voice.
I sense a butt coming.
Oh, do you? Let me continue. I'm not ready for the big butt yet. Palahniuk got the idea for the story after receiving a black eye on vacation, and upon returning to the office, realized that nobody would mention it.
Oh, that's funny. It's like, I could have gotten this at a Fight Club.
Yeah, nobody's going to ask.
You know I'd be asking.
You would. I would too. But I'm hard to work with. He sold the novel for only $6,000, and it became a breakout success and solidified Palahniuk as one of the most popular writers of the decade. The success did bring scrutiny to Palahniuk, who, closeted at the time, denied any homosexual undertones in the book. Oh, did you? Did you not know that?
What? Wait.
The fact I had to keep that from you for this long.
The fact that I didn't know.
Lizzie's been shit talking.
Are you outing Chuck Palahniuk right now?
No, he's out. He is out. Oh my God, we'd be so screwed.
How is that possible?
Right.
Like, we don't talk about him. I'm a book freak. I read nothing but gay books. He is never mentioned in like lists or retrospectives of queer writers ever.
I think you'll come to learn why.
Did he do bad stuff?
No, I mean, well, I don't know him. Maybe he did. But
I don't know his sins. Wait, okay.
You were telling me just earlier this week, and this is why it was hard to keep this to myself, that you had read a bunch of his books and you did not like them.
It's not that I don't like them. It's that they scarred me. Like their image. There's images, and if anyone has read Haunted, you know there's that one short story about the guy in the pool. Yeah, Lee's nodding his head. We've all been traumatized by that story. He's just traumatized me in a way that feels very not like the gay guy. And that's on me to be like, wait, why aren't you writing about gay people? I mean, Fight Club, but I'm shook.
Yes.
I should go back and read more, though.
Well, so in discussing the meaning of the book, Palahniuk stated, the central message of Fight Club was always about the empowerment of the individual through small, escalating challenges. He also stated that the book is neither a critique or a glorification of male violence, as the members of the club joined consensually. To which I say, there is some terrorism at the end.
Just a bit of terrorism.
Yeah.
But it's like vigilante.
Okay.
But it's a little weird. Not a hint of critique? Are you sure, Chuck?
It's hard. It's actually hard for me to believe. So
I'm curious about, and maybe this will contextualize, like, if he's ever had to defend the book, like how it was received and who gravitated towards it. And maybe if that audience was the intended audience or what, you know, because the and I'm sure we'll talk about this, but the film definitely has a reputation of being taken a little too seriously.
I will tell you that Fincher's interpretation of the story is very different than Palahniuk's interpretation of the story.
Oh, okay.
Palahniuk would come out some years after the book was published and maintains that his sexuality has nothing to do with the story and adamantly rejects the notion that it harbors any homoerotic subtext, going so far as to say that he regrets he didn't publish it under a pseudonym. And
wait. He's gonna be so mad we're talking about this right now.
I know. But I also did not know he was gay.
Right.
I read this entire book not knowing he was gay. And it was so incredibly gay to me that I was like, the book itself justifies an episode. And I went back and I watched the movie and was like, yeah, I can incorporate this stuff. And then I Googled Chuck Palahniuk and found out that he was gay. So he seems very concerned that people will learn that he's gay and start looking for these things in his book. And to that I say, I was finding them before I was even looking.
Right.
And I didn't know you were gay.
Yeah, true. But also, you cannot separate the qualities of yourself, like your experience, from your work. Like, you can try, pal, but just because you say like, oh, no, my sexuality has nothing to do with this book. It's like, well, if we are seeing the interpretation as an allegory for shame and being in the closet, and maybe at the time he wasn't out, like, I don't know what to tell you, bud. Like, your experience comes out in your work, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, the work should be able to stand on its own, regardless of who it is that created it. And just as a standalone piece, it seems so overtly queer to me that when I found out that he was gay, I was like, I hit a gold mine. This is so clearly a satire on straight men. And then I was like, oh no, it isn't.
Wow, interesting.
I agree. And I think that the context of the author never changes my initial interpretation of the story, but it always informs my like rewatches because I want to appreciate the context of which something was written.
Well, I think it's interesting that I didn't know Chuck P was queer. And like I mentioned, he's not on any list that I've ever seen that's revealed to me that he was a queer author. And he's like put in this work, obviously, to not write stories about or for gay people specifically. Like maybe he didn't want to get pigeonholed or anything. And I can understand that, you know, I can totally understand that. But it's interesting that he's like put up distance or like put out statements that are like, look, my sexuality has nothing to do with this book. It's like, okay, pal.
I feel like I wouldn't have given it so much attention if he had adamantly like requested I don't specifically do exactly what we do on this podcast. And I think it's really funny because I read the book not knowing he was gay, finding all of this gay stuff, then hearing his comments saying, I don't want anyone to look for the gay stuff. So I took that as a personal challenge and I reread the book knowing he was gay, but looking for the straight stuff.
Oh.
Like trying to only read it at its surface, non-satirically, not homoerotically,
Right.
just as a short story about men hanging out. And I gotta say, it got a lot worse for me.
Yeah, right.
Because I found that the depth and the nuance that I was reading in the book was completely shunned by his, like, if he's God in this world building, he's saying it's just not there.
Right.
So I was kind of disappointed by that. And I mean, I think it's also important to understand the context which the book was written.
Yeah.
I mean, this novel was published in 1996, which
Right.
is widely acknowledged as the beginning of the end of the AIDS crisis,
Right.
due to the invention of highly active antiretroviral therapy that was invented in 1996, which managed the virus and elongated the life expectancy of those infected. Meaning, Palahniuk would have written this story when HIV/AIDS mortality rates were at their highest with no signs of stopping.
Right. So it makes sense that someone might want to, you know, paint themselves as something other than just a queer writer at this time.
Yeah, it's entirely understandable to me. I mean, especially with the way that our government's administration handled the HIV/AIDS crisis, our country just treated it as like a gay cancer.
Yeah.
And those infected and their loved ones were not readily treated, administered care in most hospitals, and were uncertain for at least some time about how the virus was spread. A period was marked by a catastrophic loss of life and a crippling fear that any contact could cause onslaught of infection. And I try to imagine, because I can never really even begin to understand, obviously, what it would be like to live in that time as a gay man. But you're seeing this society that's making it very clear they rather see you dead than gay.
Yeah.
You're a cog in a machine that hates you and there's no escape.
Right.
I can see why all of those things would make you feel like this protagonist.
Yeah.
And I won't speak for Palahniuk and any person who's lived through that period, but it seems like a crippling experience. And I don't know what to do with this context now, because for me, it informs what I thought was a really beautiful story. And now I know that like the God of this world hates all of that stuff around it. So I felt kind of odd for this episode trying to figure out what I should include and what I shouldn't include. And I'm tiptoeing around this author who I kind of think is like, just as an aside, as a person, kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So like, spoiler alert, it's not because of any of this.
Yeah.
There's plenty of stuff you can like Google about this guy. And the more work I did for this, the less I liked him. So it actually like started to overcorrect, and like knowing more about him actually started to ruin the story because
Like taint the story.
Kind of sucks.
Well, it's a good thing you have David Fincher in the mix to like bring you back in a little bit.
I have this other book here.
Well. Is that American Psycho?
This is American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. And it's something I'm going to be tying back to because I find so many similarities between the two books.
Because she doesn't just read one book twice, she reads another book once.
Twice as big. I read this as like a lark. I was like, something about reading Fight Club made me really want to come back to American Psycho. I'd seen the film. There were themes in there that really reminded me of Fight Club. When I read the book, though, it changed everything. I love this book. And I think American Psycho justifies its entirely own episode. So I'll keep this really brief. But I just want to say that people typically compare these two novels because they're both considered two of the most popular they are considered two of the most popular transgressive novels of all time.
Damn.
They both follow an unreliable narrator who turns to acts of violence in the face of rampant consumerism. They both feature protagonists who are unfortunately adopted as beacons of masculinity by generations of straight men who fail to grasp the point. I'm looking at you, The Matrix. They both can be interpreted in a multitude of ways, which seems to be the intent, and they both were written by gay men during the AIDS crisis.
Bret Easton Ellis is also gay?
Yes.
Who isn't?
What I think is
God.
wild is how very similar these two books are.
Similar. I was actually thinking that while we were even watching Fight Club. I was like, this is giving American Psycho light.
Yes. And if you've read both of these books, or even if you've seen both of these movies, the ending of both books are also like really remind me of each other.
Yeah.
But what I really appreciate about the author Bret Easton Ellis of American Psycho, who also kept his sexuality ambiguous for some time, he never ruled out homosexual interpretations of American Psycho, and states while it's not the only lens he hopes readers will interpret his work through, he understands those who choose to do so. And I appreciate this because, one, I want to do an episode, but two, as a reader and an audience member, like I am capable of critical thought. Like I don't ascribe that intent equals interpretation.
Right. No. When does it ever?
When does it ever? And like, I say this because like Palahniuk might have not set out to have written a gay story, but that does not mean it's not a valid interpretation. And he believes maybe even today that people view the story as gay solely because he's gay, though that theory existed long before he came out of the closet. But I would venture to guess most people don't know that he is gay at all.
Yeah, that's just like a funny way of letting the artist's ego speak to the work, and like how many individual artists actually get to lay claim to their work for long. You know what I mean? Like there's like these auteurs in cinema and these great American writers who maybe like Hemingway and stuff, who like have an ego so big that we filter the work through their name forever. Their name is never separated from the work itself. But then if that's the case, if you want to like play like, oh, I own this piece, I get to decide how it's interpreted, well, then you can't just say we have to ignore this whole side of you and this whole, and like you're saying, like when these books are coming out, this whole piece of history that's happening with the AIDS crisis. So it's like, pick one.
And I have not stated this, I realized just now. This book is so fucking gay. So fucking gay.
You know what's funny is like I picked it up off the bench the other day and I was like, oh, I've never read it. Let me just, it's not gonna be a spoiler if I open to one page and just see what happens. And like my eyes fell on like Tyler's lips and the outline of them on my hand were soft as bird's feathers. I was like, Oh shit, Sam, I accidentally read a gay thing in your book.
I yoinked it back. I said, hands off. If you even leaf through these pages, and it sounds so silly that I'm saying this because it sounds crazy, but there were parts of this that felt a little like Call Me By Your Name.
Sure.
I know, I'm
The
crazy.
peach scene, right?
You will have to read the book, listener. Lizzie will read the book right after this.
I'll read it for you.
But it really reminds me of Call Me By Your Name, the novel, with this like almost dramatic, like I'm gonna kill myself if I don't see him, sort of, where you're obsessed with every little thing that they do. And I'm gonna have Lizzie read some passages just to give you guys a taste as we get to them and scenes in the movie. But all I want to say is if you didn't want it to be read as gay, you should have taken out all the gay stuff.
Oops. Would have been a very, very short novella.
Because that's where we come in. The
Just
Ghostbusters.
doing their job.
Okay, without further ado, let's get in the movie.
This is how I met Tyler Durden.
Come on, hit me before I lose my nerve. Ow! You hit me in the ear!
It was on the tip of everyone's tongue.
Can I be next?
We just gave it a name. Gentlemen, welcome to Fight Club.
Let's go, baby.
I have a question. How
Yes.
are we going to talk about this movie when the first two rules are not to talk about the movie?
Okay, we'll just have to whisper really quiet.
Okay, yeah, like we'll just use our eyes.
Yes, we'll speak with our eyes. Okay, we start off at the end of the story at the top of a high-rise corporate office building. Tyler, as played by Brad Pitt, has a gun shoved into the protagonist, played by Edward Norton's mouth, right at waist level.
Yeah. So, okay.
It's funny, all of our introductions to Tyler, we get like a penis or like something incredibly phallic. Like there's a scene where he's like, and this is Tyler, and it's actually a shot of a full penis, which I think is incredible subtlety on the mark of David Fincher. Here is where our protagonist says that old saying, how you always kill the ones you love. Well, it works both ways. And we see that the crew of Project Mayhem has wrapped the support columns of a dozen buildings around town with blasting gelatin, which will reduce a few square blocks into smoldering rubble. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
That's me.
And we do a rewind to the support group Remaining Men Together, which is a support group for men with testicular cancer. And it's here that we meet Bob, as played by Meatloaf.
God bless him.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, Meatloaf.
David Fincher just does shit and just because he can. And Bob is a member of this support group. We learn that the protagonist, in an effort to cure his insomnia, has started visiting support groups as a mean to connect emotionally with others, though he never shares. And Bob was once an ultra masculine bodybuilder. After heavy steroid use, however, Bob had to get his testicles removed, and this has caused his breasts to grow larger. And I think that's such an interesting metaphor. And I would just want you to like put that little bee in your bonnet.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Now we're seeing the protagonist at co-ed support groups as well, but there's a special emphasis on remaining men together. And is that obvious in the movie? Like he's like, oh, these other ones are like quick and fast and whatever. And he goes to that one, he actually cries.
Yeah, and that's where his breakthrough happens. Yeah.
You can see at his first time visiting the Remaining Men Together support group that the men are sharing their experiences about no longer feeling masculine. There's one man who says, who shares that he wasn't able to impregnate his wife because of his testicular cancer. And he's like physically consoled by the other men. He's crying, they're rubbing his arms, and then all the men embrace each other. And this, what looks like a lovely place to share and connect with other people.
Right.
I'm like, this seems great. It's here at this first meeting that we meet Bob. And I'd like you, Lizzie, to read a passage from the book for me.
I'd be happy to. Bob was closing in around me with his arms, and his head was folding down to cover me. Then I was lost inside oblivion, dark and silent and complete. And when I finally stepped away from his soft chest, the front of Bob's shirt was a wet mask of how I looked crying. At almost every meeting since then, Big Bob has made me cry. I was the little warm center that the life of the world crowded around, and I slept. Babies don't sleep this well. Until tonight, 2 years of success until tonight, because I can't cry with this woman watching me. Enter
Marla
Singer.
I find it so interesting that this protagonist can only ever feel like he can even get close to connecting with somebody else in a room that's exclusively men.
in the arms of another man.
Which, that's fine. You want to have friends, but it seems like there's also like this emphasis on the lack of, there's a huge emphasis on castration this whole film, and even more so
true.
in the book. And it seems like there's almost kind of like a warning around effeminacy and masculinity. Like if you are a man who is not that masculine, then you just say goodbye to your dick because that thing's coming off. You know?
You don't even need it.
I don't know if men talk about castrating each other as much as this book would imply, but I really hope not. Enter Marla Singer, as played by Helena Bonham Carter.
That's my girl.
I love her. This role, she's perfect. She is Marla Singer.
Yeah.
I when I was reading the book, I could picture other people for the other, but never her.
No.
Yeah.
And what's funny? I'm glad that I remember like my first impression watching the film being really, frankly, annoyed that Marla Singer was so infrequent in the film and that she was always kind of doing the same thing, leaving, being mad and then leaving. I was like, that's not much of a character. But now seeing it this time, I feel like I have a much more stronger grasp on what her role to the protagonist is.
Yeah, she, without Marla, I don't think any of this shit would have ever happened. She's currently invading the protagonist support group, the Big Taurus. He hates her with such a clear paranoia. The line is, her lie reflected my lie. And now the protagonist can't sleep. So the protagonist confronts Marla saying, I can't cry with another faker present and I need this. So you need to go somewhere else. When she responds with, something I've got to use on a person in real life.
Yeah.
I saw you practicing this.
Is it going well?
Is it going well?
Oh my gosh, she's castrating him. She's a castrator.
Well, she says, like, I have more of a right to be there than you at the remaining men together.
I never had my balls, and you still have yours.
And so they agree to, like, split up the night. They go their separate ways, and it's a long time before we see Marla again. And then we get to a scene where our protagonist meets Tyler, sitting beside him on an airplane.
Sizzling chemistry.
And here is where I think the crux of like why this movie gets glorified, even though there's so much violence, is because Brad Pitt is just that hot.
Jesus Christ. It's like, I remember mentioning this multiple times to Sam during us watching the film together. Like, why the fuck is he so hot? Like, it's killing me. Like, it's frustrating because he's always like slouched and he's always revealing 90% of his body and he's always perfectly lit and it's obscene. He's obscenely good looking. And in the one chapter I read that you had me read, chapter 6, he's not really described much and he definitely feels more like a normal looking man, but the film's interpretation to me definitely feels like sex god, opposite of Edward Norton, you know?
Tyler is dressed like cartoonishly in clothes that are like decades out of style and not in a trendy way, like red leather, wide lapel, red sunglasses, and he pulls it the fuck off.
Jesus Christ.
Looking so good. And then their exchange is like Tyler negging the protagonist. Like he says, you have a kind of sick desperation in your laugh. How's that working out for you being clever?
I need to pull that line on someone as well. I'm sure I'm not the first person to think this, but spoiler alert, like Tyler Durden's in his head. He's like this other part of his persona. There's a lot of different ways you can interpret that, but this was the first watch where I was like, Marla is another part of his personality. These two characters are introduced in the exact same way. They both put him down. They both are super hot, put him down. They're both disruptors, so they steal things immediately. Like one of the first things they do in front of this man is steal a car, steal some clothes, and they just kind of treat him with the same level of disdain. So I'm like, this is whatever, and we'll talk more about it, but like, this is that part of his personality that the protagonist needs to access, just in different gendered forms, and he inhabits them as he needs to accomplish whatever physical, sexual, psychosomatic, whatever goal he needs to do at that moment.
So do you think Marla's not real?
I think Marla's not real.
Interesting. Okay. I've seen people say that, and it didn't occur to me until I read it, and I kind of went back, and I think that you could make a very good case that she's not real. I think in the film she seems more real than in the book.
Yeah, this is the ending for sure.
Because the ending is very different, but I think the film has to try to imply that she is real because it's really the only way the ending would work.
Right.
The one that they went with.
Yeah, it makes sense. And like, I'm not even here to argue every single point. That's the great thing about this film, is that there's so many different ways to look at it. Like, what is Tyler to the protagonist? There's like multiple different answers. But I think I just appreciated that Marla feels like she is serving like further odds that Tyler is serving for the protagonist.
Yeah, they
like,
are so similar. When you said that, that never even occurred to me. But I'm with you. I mean, just reading the book alone, I think that she could just be another facet of this, because you never see her. Oh, well, she does sell clothes, but again, that could still be our protagonist.
Yeah. Because Tyler goes off and does things off screen.
And also there's a scene where she runs into traffic and nobody stops or honks or swerves.
Yes.
But then when he does, it's like full out catastrophe.
Yeah. It's very surreal when she just like froggers out into traffic. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm loving this. So when they meet, it kind of goes, the passage is quite long. So I'm going to try to just like cherry pick some of these sentences that I think kind of highlight their interaction. How I met Tyler was I went to a nude beach. This was the very end of summer and I was asleep. Tyler was naked and sweating, gritty with sand, his hair wet and stringy, hanging in his face. Tyler was pulling driftwood logs out of the surf and dragging them up on the beach. They were 4 logs, and when I wake up, I watched Tyler pull a 5th log up on the beach. With a stick, Tyler drew a line in the sand several feet away. After a while, Tyler sat cross-legged in the shadow of the standing logs. Tyler sat there for a few minutes, got up, took a swim, pulled on a t-shirt and a pair of sweatpants and started to leave. I had to ask. I had to know what Tyler was doing. I asked if Tyler was an artist. Tyler shrugged and showed me the 5 standing logs were wider at the base. Tyler showed me that the line he'd drawn in the sand and how he used the lines to gauge the shadow cast by each log. What Tyler had created was the shadow of a giant hand. The giant shadow hand was perfect for 1 minute. And for 1 perfect minute, Tyler had sat in the palm of a perfection he'd created himself.
Edward Norton is naked at this time, by the way.
Dig out.
Just watching this guy put some wood in a circle and sit in a hand that he made in shadow.
If I saw a stranger doing this, I do not think I would say that they sat in the hand of perfection, and perfection is the one thing you can hope for, just a moment.
It is giving Elio putting Oliver on a pedestal in Call Me By Your Name. Like right away, he's romanticizing everything this man does.
And I need you listeners to know that this author has not put a shred of that description around any other characters other than Bob and Tyler. The way he talks about Marla with an absolute apathy, like this woman is repulsive and I need to get her far away from me. I think it's so interesting that the end of this movie just ties it all up, that he loved her the whole time.
Like, oh, he was just jealous the whole time. It's like, you would like us to believe that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it does not ring true. I don't know. Is that just me? Like, am I reaching? That feels like...
No,
so
that'll do. That's
Luca
pretty
Guadagnino
textual, yeah.
shit.
Yeah, Lucas G should have gotten his hand on this thing.
Oh,
Bruh. Is it time for a reboot? They'll reboot anything these days.
I need to tell you something.
Tell me something.
Luca G is set to do American Psycho.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
If you're fucking with me, I will sue.
I so am not.
He loves blood too. Oh, he's so good at
have
blood.
A great time.
Call me. I'm
He should do this
available.
one next. But Fincher, he put his stink on it. Love him. After Tyler and our protagonist meet on the airplane, he goes back to his apartment, scene that shit blown up.
Yeah, he lost all of his earthly possessions.
Mm-hmm. And he goes to call Marla, but hangs up, and then for some reason calls Tyler with the business card.
That he just met.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And they go on their first date at Lou's Tavern. So we start in Lou's Tavern, and Tyler says, "It could be worse. A woman could have cut off your penis while you slept and tossed it out of a moving car."
Good Lord.
Which is an obvious reference to Lorena Bobbitt. But again, the castration is a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, you guys.
And you have to prove yourself to be a man, which like castration is referring to like the loss of your life force. And you know, this movie is also a lot about possessions and what you possess and how little you possess and how you come to possess things. Like Tyler says steal and the protagonist says earn. So in a way, Tyler's like castrating people of their possessions. And like whenever this guy's apartment gets blown up and he's like basically lost all of his earthly value, like of course he could turn to Tyler to be like, oh, well, I'll just take value from you. I'll just attach myself to you.
Yeah, and castration comes from the word castrati, which is that singer from the 1,800 years ago. Don't look impressed. I don't even know all the specifics.
Etymology. I didn't know we'd get etymology today.
So there's like in like the 15th century, an Italian singer named Castrati who, in an effort to preserve his young prepubescent voice, removed his genitals. And this became a standard practice for male vocalists of the time. It was very popular to do.
Yeah.
So there are people who did it electively, but then of course they couldn't continue on to have children or like have heirs for their wealth, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it keeps coming up here. And at the end, I think it gets a little more scary, the amount of castration. But right now it's just a funny little joke about Lorena Bobbitt. And Tyler starts to wax poetic here about the futility of consumerism. And while subtly aligning consumerism with feminine qualities, if you notice, saying like, why do guys like me need to know what a duvet is? Saying things like celebrity news and fashion and fuck Martha Stewart. Like, you're not saying anything inherently masculine.
Like
You're
NFL or Budweiser.
Yeah. And I think it's a very interesting like choice of like kind of language for this crusade. And outside they go to like they exit Lou's Tavern, and Tyler asks the protagonist to hit him as hard as he can because he's never been in a fight before.
I couldn't believe that.
Why don't we do shit like this?
I've literally fought you. I've literally been asked by you to hit you as hard as I can, and I have done it. We have done this.
Okay, never mind. We've done this.
I mean, we can do it today.
Yeah, let's go. It's for the Patreon. So they just beat the shit out of each other the way friends do.
Let's talk about masculine intimacy, desire of.
I am so glad you said that, Elizabeth. And I'm sounding like a broken record here, but I'm going to need you to read something for me.
If you've never been in a fight, you wonder about getting hurt, about what you're capable of doing against another man. I was the first guy Tyler ever felt safe enough to ask. We both stood there, Tyler rubbing the side of his neck and me holding a hand on my chest, both of us knowing we'd gotten somewhere we'd never been. Lying on our backs in the parking lot, staring up at the one star that came through the streetlights, I asked Tyler what he'd been fighting. Tyler said his father. Because if it's not daddy issues, what is it?
That is so beautiful.
I have butterflies in like a really strange way.
Do you see why I'm conflicted? Like all of the reasons I really like the story and I thought made it so beautiful. I freaking Googled the author who I think sucks, and he said that thing. And what I'm finding really interesting because of how much this particular author has stressed against exactly what we're doing, I find myself almost trying to, on his side, understand things from a non-subtextual place. And I find them just so much worse. So it's like I'm working against myself to align myself with the author, but in turn, I enjoy it so much less.
Yeah.
But yes, you said, can we talk about masculine intimacy, the desire of?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, if it's not the intent of the entire novel, it just seems like this protagonist wants to connect specifically with men.
Yeah. Specifically with men. He starts off like failing regular relationships his whole life, it seems, because he doesn't have any friends to call when his house explodes. Moves on to support groups where he specifically goes there in order to physically connect and be held and to hold another man. And when a woman is present, he's like, GTFO.
Get her out of here.
You witch.
Yes.
And then when that proves not enough, he reaches like this new level of intimacy that is kind of giving me a wisp of what we talked about in our Scream episode with Leopold and Loeb.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, those two people in history were two real queer men who committed a murder together, and in that act kind of like use that to solidify their romantic relationship, as like fucked up and weird that sounds. And that kind of relationship dynamic is used in Scream with Billy and Stu. But in this case too, I see like these two people come to connect and they're not able to connect sexually. So what's the next best thing? What's the next best physical intimacy available to them is to physically mark each other, to fight each other.
To dominate each other or to be dominated by another person.
And to be impressed by each other's domination. Because they're constantly talking about like, oh, this guy in Fight Club, you should have seen him last Friday. Like, he was a god.
Yeah, he's cut out of stone now.
Yeah.
You know, he looks like a god. Yeah. It's
in a way, it's like a type of intimacy that's could be conceived as more intimate than if these two people just like had a romantic relationship.
Yeah, and you're so right. I think it's probably why this book and this film get so much attention, because it is such a extreme idea. Like, what if when I want to connect with another man, instead of saying like, hey man, give me a hug, I say like, can I beat the shit out of you? It's an interesting idea. I think the book and the film make no mention of this protagonist's previous relationships with anybody.
Right.
No other women, nothing of the sort. And so it feels as though, is this your first try connecting with someone not in these support groups? Is like, let's just start punching each other.
Yeah. Pretty much. It could be.
Yeah. And the Fight Clubs definitely start ramping up. And I mean, there's more of an emphasis on like pure violence as this continues. But like for now, it's like a ha ha ha. Like we're wrestling.
And we're like dealing with stuff because Tyler's talking about how he fought his father, you know? Like, who are you fighting? Like, this man, the protagonist, has just lost all of his earthly possessions, which were the marker of the value of his life. And now he's like, all I have now is like this intimate, this moment, this interaction, because I basically have started from zero. And don't even get me started. Remind me later to talk to you about bruises and cuts.
I will. I will do that, Elizabeth, if I'm going to do one thing. So our protagonist moves in with Tyler at the Paper Street house. And in one particular scene made more intimate by Fincher, you sick pervert, I love you, he places one particular scene that in the book is not in the bathtub, but in the film they are. Tyler's in a bathtub naked, and our protagonist is sat there, and they're doing like a very intimate exchange, something that I feel like I'd only be comfortable doing with like my wife. Sorry, everybody.
Sorry, everybody else.
Sorry, that tickled me. It's here where Tyler laments that society expects men to go to college, get a job, and get married. And he says, we are a generation of men raised by women. I'm beginning to wonder if another woman is really the answer we need.
I guess in that case, he's referring to the fact that raised by women means their fathers were absent.
Yes, I think that particular phrasing is very interesting.
Yeah.
We are not a generation of men left by our fathers.
We're raised by women. So we need to cure ourselves of the duvet knowledge that we have, if you will. Like, these expectations come from like the feminine side of things, which I would argue is the exact opposite, because nothing is more patriarchal than capitalism. And nothing is failing these men and the protagonist particularly more than capitalism.
Thank you. Absolutely. I think regardless of all the mixed interpretations, because this film is kind of like, you know, you get to decide for yourself what actually happened. But I think what everybody across the board can agree on, even Chuck Palahniuk, is that this is a remark on consumerism and capitalism. And as you're saying, who set that system up?
The white man.
Do you think women on their own volition have the power to snap their fingers and undo all of this for you?
Right.
Because to go to this extreme when you're frustrated with capitalism, when you are the exact demographic who was made to excel, I think is a very interesting choice.
And also, and this is kind of switching themes now to capitalism, failure of, like you're saying, if you are in the top of the food chain, like he is doing the best that his demographic as like a white, straight, cis man can do in society. He's got the high-rise apartment full of the stuff, the good job, the whatever. And that still fails you, like the system still fails you and you still can't sleep at night and you still have no connection with anyone.
See American Psycho.
See American Psycho.
Patrick Bateman is winning.
Yeah, exactly.
In a capitalist sense.
Right,
know?
Exactly. When you're in that position, you're at the top and all you have left is to kind of start again from the bottom. So he's like putting himself in this situation where he's moving into a hovel with just a single man with no possessions, like even making his own soap. And he finds more satisfaction there. You know, to an extent, he's not like perfectly satisfied once people start showing up at his house and interrupting his honeymoon phase. But I just think it's interesting that we kind of see this man's like full circle journey from the top to the bottom and finding more fulfillment at the bottom.
And then 6 feet of dog shit. And then he's at the bottom, I guess, bottom.
Keeps
at the
going down.
Super bottom, yeah. As you're saying, Lizzie, this scene is followed by like the honeymoon period, the marital bliss.
Yeah.
The protagonist says most of the week we were Ozzie and Harriet. We see the protagonist fixing Tyler's little tie. I love them. They're so cute.
So cute.
And as this is happening, Fight Club is starting in earnest in the basement of Lou's Tavern. And here we see the protagonist watching Tyler with a great admiration.
Oh my God, stars in his eyes.
Yeah, it's like goo goo gaga, but whatever, maybe not.
Ooh.
Ooga. The protagonist receives a call from Marla as she attempts to kill herself by overdosing on Xanax. And he leaves the phone on the hook, and we learn later that Tyler went to find Marla in this state. And that's when they begin sleeping together. And when the protagonist learns that Tyler and Marla are sleeping together, he says, "I am Jack's raging bile duck. Put a gun to my head and paint the walls with my brains." So.
And he's not upset. I mean, this is like a choose your own adventure, right? It's like wear whatever lens you want, because is he mad that Tyler's time is being taken up by Marla or that Marla is getting fucked by Tyler?
I'm glad you asked me that. In the film, the exchange is framed as the protagonist being upset that Marla's invaded his space.
Right.
But the film does leave out a very specific line, Lizzie.
How could I compete for Tyler's attention?
Yeah.
I'm Joe's enraged, inflamed sense of rejection.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
So
If you feel rejected by a man, you probably want him.
you're not competing with Tyler for Marla.
No.
You're competing with Marla for Tyler.
Yeah.
Right? That's obvious.
And going back to an earlier point I made about the potentiality of Marla being just like another level of his psyche, if the only way he could allowably have sex with Tyler, he has to inhabit the Marla side of himself in order for it to be hetero and acceptable in this situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is this line right at the beginning of the book that's, we have a sort of love triangle thing going here. I want Tyler, Tyler wants Marla, Marla wants me. I don't want Marla, and Tyler doesn't want me anymore.
Oh. So it's just him wanting Tyler. Elio.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I was tripping. I need you to read this book.
I'm going to halfway there.
So Tyler and Marla are having sex, and there's a montage where we see the protagonist living in disgust while this is happening. Does that come to mind to you easily, Lizzie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He comments, "I didn't have to stay in the house. I could have moved to the 3rd floor where I probably couldn't hear them, but I didn't." And this is where the film starts, for me especially, to feel like an allegory for a closeted man who has split his persona in two. So the protagonist is hearing the sex occurring. He's consciously repulsed by it, can't seem to remove himself for reasons he doesn't understand. And he approaches the door of the bedroom. Tyler and Marla are having sex, and he looks through the crack nervously. And then the door is pulled back and Tyler appears. The protagonist recoils in shame and can't make eye contact with Tyler and can't even look in Marla's direction. And Tyler says, "What are you doing?" Like mad.
Yeah.
And he says, "Just going to bed." And Tyler says, "Want to finish her off?"
Oh.
And he says, "No, thank you." So we already know, because we've all seen this movie before, that Tyler and the protagonist are the same person.
Right.
Right? And this is more often than not a piece of evidence cited by people who don't interpret the film as gay. They say, how could they be in love if they are the same person? And this is how I see it. I believe that the protagonist starts the story discontented, like unable to sleep. I think his ability to sleep does remark on like how content he is in life. So he begins not able to sleep, and then he accepts that even momentarily, maybe a life without masculinity is possible.
Yeah.
He goes to this remaining men together group where everyone around him says, like, you don't have to be the most masculine version of yourself. Like, we have a place for you here.
Yeah.
And that starts to feel like a real possibility of acceptance for him. And then there's that moment where Marla enters and our protagonist can no longer sleep. It is this moment, and it's cited in the book. The moment that Marla enters is the moment that Tyler is born.
Oh, yeah.
Our protagonist doesn't really know this yet, but I believe that he has this feeling that Marla is inevitable. And for me, I think that she represents a possibility for the protagonist to have a traditional heterosexual life.
Right.
I mean, here is a woman just as fucked up as he is, trying to connect with him in the same way he's trying to connect with everyone else. But the protagonist, as he currently is, can't engage with her. And the idea of having sex with her repulses him. So he quite literally creates a persona named Tyler, ultra masculine, sexy, heartthrob, a presence that comforts him. Tyler can teach him how to be masculine, how to detach from paranoia, discontent. Tyler can get girls into bed without saying a word and do all of his speaking for him.
Yeah.
And very importantly, Tyler can handle sleeping with Marla.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like, I don't have to do it, but why do I still have to be here? This is what the scene feels like to me.
Yeah. Like he's disassociating from the heteronormative life that, or the hyper-masculine life, I should say, that he's expected to lead.
Which, when people say that he, in this situation, is upset because he wants Marla, he could have her anytime he wanted her.
Yeah.
I mean, so for all she knows, that's happening right now. He is the same person.
Right.
But there is a part of himself that doesn't want to.
Yeah. That is constantly pushing her away. And that is the same, that persona is the same one that wants to be close to Tyler.
Yes.
So it's like these two warring factions of himself. Two or more factions. Yeah, no, well said. Snaps for Sam.
Thank you. That's just my gay ass read.
Or whatever.
Or whatever. I know there's a ton I can go into. I'm going to try to be quick about some of these scenes, but the kiss on the hand scene that you said you like flipped through and it was...
And it occurred to me that, like, you know, as they start their little army of minion boys, everyone has that kiss on his hand. He has to kiss all of these men and like share this moment with them. And even though, you know, it's the glorification of intimacy that brings pain, ultimately these experiences are meant to bring pain to these men so they can like level up or whatever. But it still involves like a physically intimate act.
So well said. And might again I say, let's read a passage.
Bring out the Bible.
But quickly, the film's version of the kiss on the hand is quite aggressive. I mean, Tyler forces the protagonist's hand down. He kisses it kind of like almost like a joke. And then
It's a little hot.
I think it's hot, but I'm okay. And he pours the battery acid on, and it's just like he's shouting in the protagonist's face to accept it.
Yeah.
It is not the same vibe in the book.
Is it like...
Yes.
No, it isn't.
Yes. So let me read you that, please.
Flip, 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 flip.
I go to kneel beside Tyler in front of the fridge, and Tyler takes my hands and shows them to me. The lifeline, the love line, the mounds of Venus and Mars, the cold fog pulling around us, the dim light on our faces. Tyler licks his lips and turns my hand palm down on his thigh, on the gummy flannel lap of his bathrobe. Tyler licks his lips wet and shining and kisses the back of my hand. This is the greatest moment of my life. The lie clinging in the exact shape of Tyler's kiss is a bonfire or a branding iron. Tyler tells me to come back and be with him. Now, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
But it's not gay.
It's not gay.
I know I'm a gay man. It's not gay. What?
What in the Sufjan Stevens?
And then they beat the shit out of each other time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
What's a metaphor for anything? You know what I mean? What's the real metaphor here?
It almost feels to me, and this is what I thought was so clearly the mastery of the story the first time I read it and was disappointed. It was not the intent of the author. But it seems to me that beating the shit out of somebody is the exact opposite end of the spectrum of being affectionate with them.
Right.
So what do you do when you can't show somebody, like when you can't express what you actually like to do because that would make you vulnerable? Well, you double down on the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I'm not gay. I beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. I cause you pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, pain and pleasure come from the same part of the brain, don't they? Like, you remember both.
Very vividly.
And cuts and bruises. Time to talk about cuts and bruises.
Let's go cuts and bruises for 500.
Cuts and bruises for 500. So the whole thing about, and this plays more into like, as they're kind of getting more into the Fight Club kind of side of things, he's like going to work with like teeth loose and cuts on his face and a broken nose. And he's talking about the experiences of running into the other Fight Club members at the mall, at the grocery store, whatever, seeing the cuts and stuff and knowing that because of rule number 1 and 2, they can't talk about this experience. It's like a secret, hidden experience for just them. But the thing about hitting another man and marking him and him hitting you and marking you is that it's a symbol that you have handled each other. It's a symbol. It's a marker to the world that like, hey, I have come into contact with someone and I have contacted someone so much that we have left marks on each other, which is the most romantic thing I've ever heard. Just kidding. It's toxic as fuck. But you know what I mean? It's a way of showing like I've had a man lay his hands on me and I'm proud. Like it's changed me physically.
Yeah, there's a line in the beginning when he like first gets beat up and he goes back to his corporate job and somebody's like, I'd hate to see the other guy. It's like, okay, so we all know he's beating the shit out of other dudes like on a regular basis. Yeah. Yeah, and I think just you describing that, like there's these other members of the group where they know they can't talk about it in public, but they have these little in jokes and like in signals that can clue them into each other. Like that feels very queer to me.
Yeah, their own secret language. Like we know what these marks really mean.
I cannot believe that.
But the light from the refrigerator and the shape of his lips and all that shit, come on.
Tells me to come back and be with him. In the movie, Brad Pitt like no.
Yeah.
Be here.
Yeah.
It's like Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Who put the name in the goblet of fire.
It's like, you did, bitch. Like, also love that scene though. I do like their dynamic in that scene where they're like pushing everything off the table. It's all very like Brokeback Mountain.
I like that scene too because it reminded me of Dune. It's like the exact opposite of what happens in Dune.
Oh, the box.
The box. Yeah. I'll draw more Dune references if you like that shit.
Can we do Dune on the podcast?
I'll find a reason to do Dune. Don't worry about it. After this, the protagonist sees Bob on the street, and Bob envelops our protagonist in a big hug, happy to see him, because he thought he died of testicular cancer.
Yeah, he's like, oh no, I'm good. Just found a new fix.
When our protagonist learns that Bob is a member of Fight Club, he almost seems disappointed by this.
Oh,
He goes,
you're right.
Oh, maybe hoping that the life of acceptance that he thought was available would still be waiting for him. You know how like you get sad when like your elementary school gets painted. It's like, bitch, you don't go there.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like, it's not how I wanted to leave it in my memory. You know,
Oh, you're so right.
like I know I can't go back there again is what this kind of feels like to me. And at the following Fight Club, our protagonist and Bob fight and Bob wins.
Yeah.
And Tyler is not present.
Right. Right.
So I would like us to keep an eye on like who wins what fight. We never see who wins between Tyler and protagonist. We never see who wins there. With Bob, it seems to me in this fight that the protagonist kind of lets him have this one. They like walk out like arm in arm, smiling and chuckling. Again, Tyler is not there.
Yeah.
I imagine if Tyler was there, that our protagonist wouldn't feel comfortable enough letting Bob beat him in front of Tyler.
Right. No.
Which is interesting. They're the same person. So like, why does sometimes you have Tyler around and sometimes you very markedly don't?
Well, I guess it's
At Fight Club, they seem to both typically be there.
right. Well, because that's their safe space, you know, but it's kind of like Bob is from like another chapter in his life. Like you mentioned, like it's from the chapter before. So like the Tyler character didn't need to service that part of his life yet. Like he hadn't met Marla and hadn't needed to like split his expectations. He could go back to being who he used to be when he had his apartment, you know.
It feels to me like he's almost protecting Bob from Tyler.
Oh, that could be real. Because he tries to get Bob to like, he tries to protect Bob throughout the whole process of being in Project Mayhem. I love Bob.
I fucking love Bob, dude. Bob's a fucking real one. Fight Club is growing. Mischief and violence are spreading around town. And our protagonist starts to feel a surprising connection with Marla. First, our protagonist goes to her apartment to check a lump because she's afraid she has breast cancer.
Oh, I've had a nickel for every time that old line worked.
Get over
Marla,
here.
you scumbag. I love her.
I think it's interesting the protagonist says she could have asked Tyler, which actually means I could have done this as Tyler.
Right.
You know, because
she asked
she
me.
did ask Tyler.
Right.
You know, but why did you show up as yourself?
Right.
And in this moment, he checks her breast for lumps, and afterwards, she kisses him on the mouth. And he's surprised by this. I think we're to understand because Marla and Tyler are supposed to be dating. But what it feels more like to me, he's surprised that he feels something for her.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of similarities with American Psycho, but there's one in particular where the Patrick Bateman, the character in American Psycho, I don't know, is this a spoiler if I draw?
Are you going to talk about blood?
No. Should I say it? And if it's a spoiler, we cut it? Like, you can tell me. The character of Patrick Bateman in American Psycho has a kind of, he has a relationship with a woman that he has no feelings for. And he's like just as happy with killing her or never seeing her again or her being off the face of the planet. And in exchange, he notices that she actually really likes him for who he is. And he's prepared to be like revolted by that. But then somewhere inside of him, it's like the Grinch. He's like, what's that feeling?
Oh, no.
He's like, oh, no, like I don't hate her.
Yeah.
And it seems like in this moment, he's realizing like, oh, she's kind of a victim to all of my internal shit. Like I'm bopping her around with this like fake person. And what to me, you know, because I think that this feels like an allegory for he's in a relationship with her where he has to create a straight persona, but he himself is still in the closet.
Right.
Has sympathy of the fact that he's not being transparent with her.
Yeah.
And letting her think that he's someone he's not at all.
Yeah. And he does try to protect her from himself.
Yeah.
From his other persona later in the film.
Because at the Paper Street house later, Marla's in the kitchen and Tyler's nowhere to be seen. And our protagonist looks at her with such pity and says, like, what are you getting out of all of this? Is it making you happy? And she says, well, sometimes. And he begins to say, you know, Tyler's made him promise never to talk about him to her specifically.
Yeah.
Because then what would happen? I know where it's to say like it would unravel his idea of like his dual personality, but wouldn't that be the same case if you were in the closet dating somebody who it's
Right.
all for like, you know,
For show.
for show? You wouldn't want to say like, oh, but you're not really dating me. You're dating this like masculine version of me.
Yeah, I
and-
have to be ready to like engage with you when that part of me is like to the forefront so I can deal with you.
Yeah, she says, that other evening when you came over to play doctor, what was that all about? And she inquires if the protagonist has been hurt by somebody who, and our protagonist, as directed by Tyler, states, this conversation is over. It makes me really sad because
Poor Marla.
Marla, get out of there, girl.
Yeah, she loves a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
But she says like, because he asked her like, what are you getting out of this? Does it make you happy? And she says sometimes. that sometimes is with Tyler. It's not with him. So there is a part of all of this that is, we don't get to see it on screen because Tyler and Marlo are never in the same place, but there is a world where he's like, I could be happy. If I was different, I could be happy in this situation.
I could leave Tyler on
Yeah.
at all times. Like I could put my shit on autopilot and he can drive the bus and I can live a totally presentable life with Marla. And it just makes me sad.
Don't worry. She like scuttles off to England after this and opens a pie shop with Johnny Depp and everything happily ever after, right?
Yes, that's the only way it could get better. Project Mayhem begins. Members of Fight Club join the cause. It requires that they cut their hair, remove identifying features. Ironically, they embrace conformity, which seems to be the antithesis to their whole
You're so right.
all
Hierarchy
magically
and conformity, yeah.
start to resemble another
Wait, why do we need
strange
bunk
group in
beds?
America. Bob is turned away initially by Tyler, and our protagonist follows after Bob and persuades him to come back. And I think it's because he sees himself in Bob and almost like understands like if I can be saved from effeminacy by Tyler, like maybe you can be too.
Yeah. You can get your balls back, Bob.
Yeah, you can get your balls. We see that the stunts planned by Project Mayhem have gone from like civil disobedience to like straight up terrorism. This was before
fine
9/11
line,
though,
yeah.
so the visuals of the office is burning, the high rises burning didn't,
No one's terrified.
no one's terrified of that yet.
The thing is, like, for a second there, like, I can get behind some of the mischief and tomfoolery. Like, they're, like, crushing Starbuckses and, like, doing public art and, like, just being little shit asses, like, busting car tires. I'm like, if I had half the courage and manhood, you know, I would go out and cause some mayhem, but I am too fucking well informed.
Yeah, I wish that this story, if it was meant to just be like a remark on consumerism, kind of went more that way and it stopped being like an internal turmoil because we lose the message of the group, you know, and that
totally.
starts to spin out. And for me, it seems like if I'm not trying to read any homoerotic subtext in this film, it means, to me, it feels like a warning against the cult of personality.
Yeah.
And these like groups that kind of pick up people on the bottom who are dying for connection, scoops these vulnerable people up and keeps them in this kind of cycle where they're, you know, faceless, homogenous men in this crowd. So that's my 2 cents on that. I don't know. Apparently I don't understand what the book is about.
You're misreading it.
After the attempted castration of the mayor,
Okay.
just get you right back in the saddle.
More castration.
More castration. We see our protagonist, Tyler, and a specific member of Project Mayhem called Angel Face, who's played by Jared Leto.
The blonde one.
Yep. In the book, he was given the name by the protagonist because of his beauty. Just so you know.
Yeah. When are they going to stop lying to us that Jared Leto is beautiful? Anyway.
He is hot. I'm not stupid.
Ew.
He looks like young Zac Efron to me, which I know he's older than Zac Efron, so Zac Efron looks like him, but I don't choose
Should
to
have been Zac Efron.
say it that way, okay? So all three of him, protagonist, Tyler, Angel Face, exit into a parking garage, and I need to show you that scene.
All right.
Okay, Lizzie, I just showed you a scene where all three of those men I described walk into a parking lot, and now can you tell me what happened in that scene?
So they leave a successful little mischief managed, if you will, and Angel Face goes over to Tyler and receives like some praise. Like Tyler like puts his hand on either sides of Angel Face's face and kind of like says, "Attaboy, you did it. Now let's go on to the next chapter of this adventure." And the protagonist's face is like full on face crack, jealousy, and he says the line, "I am Joe's inflamed sense of rejection."
Yeah. This, for me, reads like a more of a visual jealousy than the Marla stuff for some reason. Like he turns his whole body and he's like sneering at both of them. And
Stank face and that Angel Face.
it's only made more, like, what's the word? It's only made more tragic, this like exchange, by the scene that directly follows this, where our protagonist beats the shit out of Angel Face
Yeah.
to the point that he's like he's beyond recognition.
Yeah, like hospital, unconscious. Like isn't there a rule like if someone goes limp, even if they're faking, you're supposed to stop the fight? He kind of like breaks that rule, but because we're to understand he's the leader, he's Tyler, no one says anything.
No one stops him. You see Bob's face while this is happening. Bob looks really disappointed.
Yeah.
And Tyler's obviously watching. I think that's why the protagonist is doing this in this moment. But we've seen the movie. We know they're the same person. So from the perspective of Angel Face, he is having like a cute flirtation with a guy he so deeply admires, who is like showering him with physical affection, only to turn around and beat the fucking shit out of him.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately, some gay men do have experiences like that.
Yeah.
With other gay men who are in the closet.
Yeah.
They'll have a consensual sexual relationship with them, and then the DL man, at the second his masculinity is questioned, will turn around and beat the shit out of these guys.
Yeah.
It's when I thought about it from Angel Face's perspective, I got so sad because he seemed so happy in the exchanges before, and even at the beginning of the fight, when he's fighting the protagonist, he's happy and smiling.
This is a great moment.
I'm gonna wrestle with my
mentor.
This guy I like.
Yeah.
And then he gets basically beaten to shit. And when we see him again, he's no longer jovial. When we see him again, he's like a militant, like, let's go.
He's like,
violence.
I guess this isn't about like that intimacy. This is about just the task at hand. This is about the project.
Don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Just serve your orders. It made me really sad.
But you know what's crazy is that like Tyler wouldn't have done that to him. Tyler, for all his flaws, treats the men as well as he knows how, and this like, you know, morality that they've built together. But you know, like he provides shelter for them. He talks down to them, but he generally treats them with respect, like gives them roles. Like everyone is agreed upon in this cult that it is a fine thing. Like he would never exert violence to that extent upon them. You know, you're justifying like what level of violence is cool and intimate and what level of violence is like too much. But in their twisted world, like Tyler would never cross that line.
It's interesting that you say that because I think towards the end of the film, you see the lines between these personas blur.
Yeah.
Like for me, you can so clearly see the protagonist become much more violent and aggressive.
Yes.
And you can see Tyler become almost more like effeminate. Like towards the end of the film, he's dressed so flamboyantly, he looks like Elton John.
Yeah.
You know,
so right.
And he's seeing Tyler give affection to another man towards the end of the film. You know what I mean? So they all kind of start converging on each other, these personas, and he can't get the reins on it any longer.
Yeah.
After this, Tyler leaves for some time, and our protagonist is alone in the house with members of Project Mayhem. He says, "My father dumped me. Tyler dumped me. I am Jack's broken heart." Elio. Marla surfaces and asks to come inside, and he says he's not here. Tyler's not here. In the book, it says she's been dumped too.
Oh my God. Like the collateral damage for this guy's broken persona.
Yeah, come on, guy. Just
come out of the closet.
Go see a therapist. Come on, And it's crazy they won't prescribe him Ambien because this could have been avoided.
One prescription of Ambien or some Z-Quil would have solved everything.
I know Marla got Xanax.
Yeah,
right. Quickly after this, Bob's body is brought into the Paper Street house. His head was shot off.
Robert.
And he's dead.
Oh, God, the collateral damage continues. And only the softest are injured. Marla, Bob, Angel Face.
What really... I love Bob so much.
Yeah.
You guys don't understand. What kills me about this is that Bob would have loved him either way.
Yeah.
Bob was happy to be like everything he needed to be when he was masculine or not masculine.
Yeah.
You know, Bob just loves you as a person.
I feel like Bob saw this change because he knew the narrator. Bob knew the protagonist before Tyler was born. That persona had to appear, and he still treated him the exact same way. So I think Bob, in a sense, And Bob has seen him flip as well. Whenever Bob's waiting on the porch to be admitted into the cult, he sees the two personas warring right in front of him, and he still chooses to stick around. So you're so right. I think Bob is one of the few people that know, like, not even Marla fully understands, like, what the fuck is going on with this guy. But Bob does.
Yeah.
And he's the one that, like, is truly the most fucked.
Yeah. I love you, Bob.
Justice for Bob.
Justice for Bob. It's our protagonist breaking point. He's trying to put an end to Project Mayhem. But he can't really undo all the work and the balls in motion all over the country. Somewhere in Seattle, a bartender calls him Mr. Durden, and things start to click. He calls Marla and confirms, and she states, yes, you are in fact Tyler Durden. And in that moment, Tyler emerges, and all of the memories flow back to our protagonist, and he realizes they are the same person.
You know what's funny is, like, I always think this is like the end of the movie, but there's like a full act that he's like working against himself. Like that fucking scene in Liar Liar that's like, I'm kicking my own ass. Do you mind? The goddamn pen is blue.
Goddamn pen is blue. Yes, as you're saying, this idea of working so hard against yourself and nobody believing you. You would love American Psycho.
Oh, do I have a tome for you?
Do I have a big ass book for you to read? Yes, I think that's very interesting. Tyler says, you were looking for a way to change your life. You could not do this on your own. All the ways you wish you could be, that's me. I look how you want to look. I fuck like you want to fuck. Yeah. I'm smart, capable. Most importantly, I'm free in all the ways you are not. People do it every day. They talk to themselves and see themselves the way they want to be. You just had the courage to run with it. Naturally, you're still wrestling with it sometimes. You're still you. Other times, you like to imagine yourself watching me. Little by little, just letting yourself become Tyler Durden. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Come out the closet,
like
bro.
I said, dress like Elton John.
Yeah. He wants to dress like Elton John.
And he's hot enough to pull it off. After this exchange, Tyler takes control, and when our protagonist is conscious again, he fears that Tyler will harm Marla. He warns her. He gets her out of town. And later, out of desperation, because no one seems to heed his warning, our protagonist heads to the police department, where he shares all of the details of his plans with the police chief. And when the police chief exits, the remaining police officers reveal themselves as members of Project Mayhem, hold our protagonist down, and attempt to castrate him.
Yeah. Someone's about to get castrated.
Though David Fincher shot this in a really funny way, and like I totally get why. Like the ending of the movie, the pace kind of has to keep ramping up.
Yeah.
In the book, it is truly very frightening.
Yeah.
It is not in the same context. He's not like in a room. You want me to tell you what happens?
Sure, yeah.
He goes to the police. They put him on a bus. They take him far away, and the bus is filled with police officers who are holding him down as he's hanging out the window. Like they've got the rubber band around his balls. They are about to castrate him, and he falls out and he gets away. But
oh my God.
It is written in such detail that it is truly not fun to read.
No, Chuck Palahniuk will do that to you. He traumatizes you.
Yeah.
That's like his brand. Have I not mentioned the haunted thing? Never read that book.
I won't. Trust me, I won't.
I mean, I did find that is the most uncomfortable scene for me to watch. I mean, clearly, it's the closest we get to castration in the film, which is ironic because it's like you are tying yourself up. Like your system that you put in place is doing this to you. So like you're kind of getting caught in the drain of your own making.
Lizzie, remember what I asked you to put in your bonnet about the remaining men together?
Yes.
That I thought it was really interesting that Bob, in a quest for masculinity, did steroids, which then gave him testicular cancer, which then caused him to remove his testicles,
right,
and his breast to enlarge. Is that not, in a way, exactly what's happening here? Like,
definitely.
Our protagonist, in a quest for masculinity, you flew too close to the sun. Now your punishment is we're going to take your balls.
Yeah. You get caught in your own trap.
Mm-hmm. Our protagonist heads to the high-rise in an attempt to stop Tyler and is able to disable the bomb in this one particular building, though there are still a dozen more set to explode. Tyler beats up our protagonist, restrains him to a chair at the top of the high-rise, and we're back where we started at the top of the film. And we see Tyler has brought Marla back, and the henchmen, the other members of Project Mayhem, are bringing her up to the top floor of this high rise. There's a power struggle that happens between the protagonist and Tyler, but our protagonist is able to regain control and shoots himself in the head, destroying Tyler. The henchmen, thinking our protagonist is Tyler, rush to give him medical attention, but he ushers them away, instructing them to leave him with Marla. And our protagonist and Marla hold hands and watch the city crumble around them.
Which, there's no way that's how the book ends.
That's not how the book
Like,
ends.
that is some made up ass Hollywood shit if I've ever seen it.
That is not how the book ends at all. And if I were to tell you how the book ends,
Oh, don't tell me. Unless you want to.
I almost want to see if I could say it on mic and just you not personally hear it, because I think if I was listening to this episode and I didn't want to read the book, I'd want to know how it's supposed to end the book.
I also want to know without reading it, but
Yeah.
maybe if Lizzie wants
Should I
to
leave
read it.
the
Yeah, can you leave?
Oh,
Bitch, go.
okay. I'm gonna leave.
We'll come back and get you.
Yeah, I'll get you. All right, just a note from me. Lizzie's exited the room because she does not actually want to know how the book ends because she's going to read it tonight. But I will tell you, Lee. So in the film, like I said, Marla's brought up to the tower and the protagonist and Marla hold hands and all of the buildings explode around him. But in the book, there's still a similar power struggle between the protagonist and Tyler. It happens on the roof, and he's got a gun to his head, and he's threatening to shoot himself. And Marla comes up with all the members of the support groups that he's been to. Everybody but Bob. It's all of them plus Marla. She's on the roof. She's screaming, "Don't do it. Don't do it." And he's like, "I got to. I can't let Tyler win." He shoots himself. He wakes up in heaven. He describes heaven as a place where they give me little medicines in little cups. And I talk to God all the time behind his solid oak desk. And I see all the diplomas up on his wall. And God tells me I'm doing much better. Maybe I can leave here soon. And Marla writes me, and all of the attendants will say, "I hope you get well soon, Mr. Durden." And they wink and they say, "We hope to get you back one day soon, Mr. Durden." And it's how the book ends.
I kind of like both. I like that, but didn't think the book would have such a interesting ending as well. But I kind of like both endings. Like what they did.
I like the book ending. I know some people don't love it because it's kind of that cliche of like, oh, you were just in a mental hospital. But he has this line at the end that maybe I should read now that I'm not spoiling it for Lizzie. "I look at God behind his desk, taking notes on a pad, but God's got it all wrong. We are not special. We are not crap or trash either. We just are. We just are, and what happens just happens." And God says, "No, that's not right." "Yeah, well, whatever. You can't teach God anything." He says, "I would call Marla from heaven, and the moment she answers, I say, 'Hello,' and I wouldn't hang up." Yeah, I think that's really sweet, where he's like, you can't teach God anything. Like, you're not good and you're not bad. You just are, which I think is more of a sense of acceptance than what he really gets in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie ending, which y'all will talk about, it's just like way more stark and like shakes you, in a way.
Okay, Lizzie's back.
All right. I've never been kicked out of my own podcast before, but there's
Yeah.
a first for everything.
You be careful now that I know I hold that power. I'll just start reading the last page of a book you haven't read and you'll just flee.
I'll run from the room.
Okay, so how do you feel about the movie? How do you feel about the ending? We can move on to the reception if you don't have any huge thoughts about it.
No, I think I got it all out.
With a budget of $63 million, it grossed $101 million at the box office.
Wow.
Which is technically a success, but it is a weaker response than the studio was hoping for. They put like a ton of money and they put Brad Pitt's face like everywhere for this thing.
What were they going to do? Like merchandise this shit? Like make a fucking ride at Universal Studios? Like
The movie's about consumerism.
the irony of that is intense.
Yeah. Critics and audience reviews were mixed, some heralding it as a technical masterpiece and a thought-provoking film, while others dismissed it entirely, calling it a glamorization of brutality. Roger Ebert,
What he got to say?
he gave it 2 out of 4 stars, calling it a thrill ride masquerading as philosophy.
And I could say that. And like, I feel like you could watch this at a different point in your life and decide how heavy you think this film is. Or I guess how vapid you think this film is. But as we just discussed, there's a lot happening.
Yeah. To Roger Ebert, I'd say watch it again, but make it gay.
Yeah.
If you try to find the gay stuff in a Roger Ebert, it gets a lot more fun.
Come on, Raj. Have a little fun with it.
While the box office numbers were low, the film saw a surge in home video sales, and it quickly became a cult classic. It was nominated for an Oscar for Best Special Effects, which, gotta say, which is really cool. David Fincher started his career as a special effects supervisor for George Lucas, Industrial Light and Sound.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he's he's obsessive about his effects. It's one of the things that I love because they never look bad. Unfortunately, they did not win the Oscar, but it won in my heart. David Fincher, I know you listen to the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, David Fincher, longtime friend of the pod.
Without further ado, shall we score?
We will score. This is a little ditty we do at the end of every episode where we try to quantify just how we feel about this shit. So how the subtextual score works is we each rate the film on a scale of 1 to 10 for how good the film is and how gay the film is. And then we average those together to get our single subtextual score, which we record religiously on Letterboxd. So find us on Letterboxd at subtextualpod. We're on there like crazy.
We're on there like crazy.
All over that place.
Lizzie, tell me how good this movie is.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the few movies over 2 hours that I wouldn't mind watching like every couple of years. I give it like a 7.5.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give it a 7. I love David Fincher. This is not the one I would put on if I'm in a mood.
Yeah. This puts you in a mood.
It does. I used to work out to this movie. It's great for that, like doing crunches.
I did like work on my computer today and I put on the soundtrack just to get myself in the zone of the podcast, but I ended up listening to the whole soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And the soundtrack is also a vibe.
He doesn't fuck around with his soundtracks either.
Ew.
David Fincher is known for collaborating with Trent. David Fincher is known for collaborating with Trent Reznor and Atticus
Is Trent
Ross.
Reznor and Atticus Ross, did they do the... Okay, because it
This
feels
is the one they didn't.
like Challengers-esque. Like these like sawing electronic, like relentless beats. It works for me.
He's got that going with The Social Network and like Gone Girl and like the Trent Reznor, like,
Yeah.
like, so you would fuck with The Social Network if you watch it again with the Challenger's mindset.
Oh, I watched... Oh, you mean gay? The gay mindset? Social Network is so gay. Please do that movie.
I hope I can do that movie. I don't want to talk about Chuck Palahniuk when I'm talking about David Fincher.
Okay, yeah.
How gay that movie?
On a scale of 1 to 10, gay of this movie? Jesus Christ. Quite gay.
Mm-hmm.
I would also give it a 7 on the gayness scale. I mean, it's just... Honestly, I'll give it an 8. The author's gay. Everything about it centers around queerness and intersects in queerness in a lot of different ways and like brings to mind like male intimacy in a lot of really complicated ways that aren't just like sexual. It's a law.
Yeah.
What about you?
If it was on the book alone, I would give it a 9.
Yeah.
I think that Fincher left some of the homoerotic subtext out because a lot of it's like the internal thoughts of the character, which he can't always include. But Fincher also brought a lot of gay stuff to the table. Like he made
The bathtub,
like the glances and especially like the physical repulsion he's able to capture from the protagonist, I think makes it feel a lot more gay. So I'm going to say 8.5.
And also, we never talked about this, but we're constantly looking at Tyler through the lens of the narrator. He's the only one that can see this motherfucker. And he is just like such a sex icon.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way they dress him, the way his style progressively changes, like you mentioned, like the way he's lit, it's just like obsessive.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're just Googling this guy.
Yeah, me. I'm like with you, protagonist, like Marla Singer and Tyler Durden. Like,
yeah, Marla Singer. Wow.
that's how I know they're
We haven't even
hallucinations,
talked about
right?
how
They're-
hot Marla Singer is.
No, we haven't.
Oh my God. That like this type of like cigarette 90s girl a la Winona Ryder in absolutely anything like had me in a chokehold.
I told Lizzie this when we were watching, Helena Bonham Carter has the most movie star face I've ever seen in my life. Like she makes like the people in the scenes with her look like total fucking normies. She's made for the camera. She does an incredible job with this. I couldn't imagine anybody else. That gives us an overall subtextual score of 7.75.
All right. It's banging. It's a banging score.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
Pretty high one. Just want to say thank you, David Fincher, the Finchman.
Ah, the Finchman.
You did it again. And I look forward to seeing what you're going to do next.
And sorry, Chuck Palahniuk, you did not consent to this, but we're doing it anyway.
You would hate this.
We are literally your reckoning. Like, we are the thing you never thought would happen. It's literally what we're doing.
He's stated so many times. He's like, I don't want people to look specifically for the gay stuff in my... It's like, I'm reading this as I'm putting it in the document.
You're like, well, put it in the fucking 10-page note document.
Oh,
Sorry, not sorry, Chuck.
no, I don't like that guy.
We don't fuck with Chuck.
Not for that reason. I have a list of reasons if you must know, but
We'll put that on the Patreon.
yeah, we can talk about that on the Patreon.
And speaking of Patreon, we recently relaunched and revamped over there as well. So find us at patreon.com/subtextualpod for lots of cool bonus content. Sam might even explain why she hates Chuck Palahniuk.
If you want to subscribe one time, see exactly why I hate him, and then unsubscribe,
You can do that.
you can absolutely do that.
Also, do us a favor, like, comment, star below, review us in some way on any of the platforms you're listening. It helps us a lot. It's free. And if you don't do it, we'll beat you up.
I'm a Bob, okay? If you need to be a Tyler right now.
Bitch, please.
You are, I feel like I'm actually protagonist. I think you are like Marla Bob, which is a compliment.
Yeah, Marla, Rising, Bob, Moon. For sure, no, I'll take that, Marla, Bob.
Yeah. All right, Lee. You ready to go? You ready to go to Fight Club?
Don't punch me.
Okay, let's go. Bye, y'all.
Bye.